So before I came to Mount Vista Farms, I was living on alcohol, speed, and drugs, cigarettes. I wasn't eating. Weighed about 140 pounds less than 40 pounds less than I weigh now. I'd lost a union iron worker job. I'd had 18 years. My wife had left. She had restraining orders against me. I couldn't see my daughter, who was 4 at the time. She turned 5 while I was in here. The electricity had been turned off in my house because it hadn't been paid. The rent hadn't been paid. I'd just gotten out of Santa Rita, and I had no intention of getting sober. And I was gonna go down in a ball of flames. And I had every intention of doing that. And what happened was my family showed up in an intervention. Long before the show, intervention was on TV, and they just showed up at my doorstep one day. My dad has now he has about 30 years of recovery behind him, and when they showed up, I somehow knew what they were there for. And they sat down and all read their letters, and my brother was reading a letter to me. He's 11 months younger than I am, and he just stopped reading and said, "I miss my brother and want him back." And the intervention specialist looked over at that moment and said, "Will you get help?" And what I meant to say was, "No, get out of my house." And what I said was, "Yes." And I felt my shoulders drop at that moment. And I remember thinking at that time, good, it's over. I don't have to do this anymore. And I had no intention of getting sober. It wasn't on the top 1,000 list of things to do the day that I said yes and came here. I mean, I had really important things to do, like pawning stuff and ripping people off and getting drunk and using, and coming to a treatment center and asking for help is no. Never even occurred to me that drinking and drugs might be the problem. Never. My idea of what a rehab was for losers. And I remember walking up the path right here and saying, "God, look at all these losers," and not really being in touch with reality that my life had just completely exploded. I'm a student body president, played college football, and yet the drugs and the alcohol took me to rehab, really rehab. But when I walked up here, I don't know, something changed. There were people here who had walked the path that I'd been on. There were people who knew when to steer a little bit clear and give me some space. Their timing just seemed impeccable. The first thing I was told when I got here was, go into this room and sleep for a couple of days and don't worry about anything else. And that's what I did. And then they said, "This guy's your roommate, just follow him around until you get comfortable." And they slowly kind of just let me know that whatever I needed, it was here for me. And some of the rough edge, kind of got polished a little while I was here. But I couldn't say enough about this place, Mount Vista Farms. It saved my life. It changed my life. And I would say to anybody that is hesitant about it is to go ahead and walk up that path. Go ahead and put your feet in the water. Try it. There's hope. This place changed my life, and I really believed when I got here that it couldn't. This might work for everybody else up there, but it was not going to work for me, and it did. My life doesn't look anything like what I thought it was going to look like, and yet it's better than I ever thought it could be. I was the guy who was going to burn up, go down in a blaze of glory, and my life has turned into getting remarried to an absolutely wonderful woman, and being a stepfather to her 2 kids, and a father to my daughter, and a brother, and a son. It's been amazing. That's what it's been. A miracle, really.